This
Go.
conference will now be recorded.
Hello, everybody. It is 9 o'clock sharp. So I'm glad that you are on the call. Thank you, as always. And today we're going to, I believe anyway, that those of you on the call are going to get a lot of value because that's what I try to do. That's not even try. Stop saying that word try. I have an agreement with my buddy Denise that the word try should now be taken out of our vocabulary because it's either you're going to do something or you're not going to do it. So so try is something that I'm moving away from as far as saying as far as a term I use in my life. So good morning once again, and thank everybody for coming on today's Power Monday Mastermind call. And this call is specifically called Big Papa's Money Game. And the reason being is because sometimes I call myself Big Papa. And I'm going to, my objective in this call is to help you all 4X your income, okay? So to increase your income by 4 times. And it's not just about it's all about the money, right? But it's about not just going out and getting the money, but the mindset in order to make that happen. And so one of the things that I really want to impress upon you all is that one of the things that I learned to do a long time ago and still do it today, but there were periods of time when I stopped doing what I'm about to explain to you. And the reason I stopped doing it is because I would have failures in my life and then I would, kind of lose my way, right? So what ends up happening is if you don't have, people that you can talk to, share with, people that are moving in the same direction as you. Once again, it can be, as I always say, it can be a completely different type of business, a completely different type of thing, if you will, right? But as long as you're dealing with and talking to people that are trying to elevate themselves, trying to grow, then what ends up happening is it keeps you energized it keeps your mental right as far as your development. And so, you can be trying to, do the construction business. God, dog, that word try. You could be in the construction business. You could be in the, a teacher, You could be going to school to get your degree in whatever it is that you want to get your degree in. It doesn't matter, but you have to be around like-minded people in order to stay energized. Because if you're not, if you're hanging around, let's say you're in school and you're hanging around people that don't give a crap about school, then subsequently you're going to lose a lot of your drive to further your education or to continue with your education. And so that's why it's imperative for us to constantly, if at all possible, align ourselves with individuals that are like-minded. Once again, it doesn't matter what direction necessarily that they're going in, but you want people that are like-minded, people that are positive, people that are moving forward in their life. They're not settling. They're not trying to be content with who they are or where they're at. And the thing that when you're making these moves, you have to understand that not everyone is going to move along with you, and you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with the fact that as you grow, as you develop, as you become the person that you want to be, that not everyone is going to be able to come with you, and that's family, friends, whomever. All right, so you will have to make a choice, and that choice has to be: are you going to move forward? Are you going to build you, and then subsequently be able to help those people that you love and care about, or are you going to be part of the status quo? And sometimes, in our existence, in my existence, when I haven't had, people around me to help motivate me, not because they're just telling me stuff, right? Not just because they're saying, "Oh, Pascal, you can do it. Oh man, you're the greatest." I'm not saying people that are just being cheerleaders to me. I'm saying people that are motivating me because they're doing stuff and I'm hanging out with them. They're doing stuff and I'm associated with them in some fashion or form. And it's pretty simple, really. When you associate with or hang out with, individuals that are doing something, psychologically, none of us want to be, left behind. We don't want to be the person that's sitting at the table with two other people or five other people or 10 other people. You don't really want to be the person sitting at the table and they're talking about what they're trying to accomplish, or what, Doug, I hate that word try. I got to stop using that. Or what they're accomplishing or moving towards accomplishing, and you're sitting at the table talking about the same old thing, in your direction is the status quo. You're not developing, you're not moving, you're not doing anything. And so the way that we're going to 10x, 4x, double your income, and understand this, it is extremely doable, right? But you have to understand the mechanics behind, doubling your income, tripling or quadrupling your income. And the mechanics are this. You, I, or anybody else that wants to make more money has to do something, right? So whatever you're doing right now is great, wonderful, awesome. It is all of that. But if you're saying that you want to 4x your income, then you have to step out on faith, okay? The belief in yourself. And the belief in yourself is what is going to empower you to do whatever it is that you need to do. Not everything is going to work out, but the belief in yourself will continue to propel you forward. So therefore, you're going to be able to shake off whatever disappointments, whatever roadblocks come in your way, and continue to move forward. So I'm not saying that you have to stop what you're doing right now. I'm saying that you're going to have to add to that. I'm saying that if you are an accountant and being an accountant or what have you, it's kind of like a straight road. It's a path, a straight path. You get your clients in, all this other stuff. Well, you have to start thinking beyond what your normal is, how you're normally attracting clients, your bit of marketing that you're doing, your referral base, all that good stuff. You're going to have to start thinking beyond that. Okay. So does that mean that you're going to have to, and a lot of people don't understand this, but you can actually go directly to the U.S. Postal Service and buy a list. And the list with the U.S. Postal Service is updated more than any other list, period. They know when somebody has moved. They know when somebody has changed their, well, I just said that basically by saying they moved, but they've changed their address. They've moved across the country or whatever. That house is abandoned. That business is no longer there. They know all that, and their lists are updated regularly. So you can literally walk into your local post office, and then they have a little flyer that will give you the link so that you can go and buy lists directly from the U.S. Postal Service, which is a lot cheaper than buying lists from all these list companies and what have you. So let's say if you're an accountant then you want to probably market to maybe 10 square miles away, or the circumference from your business, or radius from your business. So that is going to obviously promote and propel you into another level, because now you're developing a whole new base of clients, right? People probably didn't know you're there. They didn't even know you existed, and you're within 5 or 10 miles of them, whatever you choose to market within. So it's literally thinking beyond where you're at to 4x your income. And so let's say that you're in a business that is even more static, even more controlled, even more I don't know, just it has a set pattern of doing things. Well, then you may need to step outside of that business to generate more money. And there are a wealth of ways to do so. So if you are let's say you are an accountant and you've been one for a long time, then why aren't you out there lecturing and teaching? Why aren't you out there creating books, videos, and so on and so forth, right? So these are the things that we have to do to start thinking outside of our immediate circumstances. And there's a reason for doing this that's even greater. And the reason is because once you start stepping outside of your immediate circumstance, once you start doing something different, here's what happens. And it is one of the strangest things in the universe as far as I'm concerned. And that is that once you start moving forward, once you start putting your energy into something new and different, whether it's marketing greater for your business, choosing to go out and start going to meetups and all these other things that you can do, and start passing out your cards, talking to people, being seen and all that. Here's what happens in the universe, and it is uncanny how it works over and over and over and over and over again. And the more you are out there, and the more you are developing you, the more you are promoting you, the more you are showing everyone, the world, if you will, who you are, then things start happening. Opportunity, doors start opening up, and it might be something in a related but different arena than what you're actually in right now, that can, that door can open up for you, and it only occurs because you're actually out there doing something. So as you all know, I am rebranding myself. So for the last 20 some odd years, it's been Vanguard Global LLC, constantly and continuously and so on. And I have a crap load of videos and information and what have you out there. But I'm rebranding, and I'm branding under Pascal Mansell, right? And also as a master teacher, because I am a master teacher, and I am a master teacher because I am knowledgeable and I am constantly learning. So I said I'm a master teacher, and we're going to get into that more. The point being is that I was in this whole, rebranding, coaching, teaching that we're pushing into. I had this formulation, if you will, this idea in my brain. And so in other words, the manifestation process, right? The thought process, the manifesting, the creating of an idea. And so let me just break down like this. So the way it worked is very simple, y'all, is as I started believing more about what I'm doing, as my belief developed greater in myself, doors started opening up. Things started happening. So out of the blue, this guy that I talk to, I don't know, every blue moon, right? He calls me up real good guy. But he calls me up, pimps me for information, which is cool because I've known him so long. He's been an on and off customer, so I don't really mind him calling me and pimping me for information every once in a while. So he calls me up. He's pimping me for a little bit of information, and he says to me some very key words, right? And those key words were, "Hey man, I'm doing this, 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 and this. I want you to look at my business experience profile and tell me what you think." So he gives me his login stuff, and I'm looking at it on the computer while I'm having this conversation with him. And then he goes, "Oh, my app guy is on the other line." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." He goes, "But let me let him know that I'm talking to you, and I'll hit him back." And I'm like, "Okay, cool, whatever." And so once he said that, and I have this guy that I know, Jerry Green, who's been talking to me about apps for I don't know how long, let's say a year or so ago. And ironically, because I've had this thought in my head, right, and I'm believing this thought more and more and more, because at first it was just that. It was just this inkling of an idea that, what I want to do with my future and myself and how I want to start going after more and more capital. Well, as I started believing more in that goal for myself, as I started believing that, I became more confident in that. And as I became more confident in that, I changed virtually everything that I deal with. I put Pascal B. Mansell or Pascal Mansell, master teacher / coach, right? Because that's the direction I'm going in. And so I have to claim that. I have to claim that, and I have to know that that is truly me, right? I have to believe that that is truly me. And so I hope you guys are understanding the correlation of everything I'm telling you, because it all works together, right? So I had to literally have that thought process in my head in order for, I believe this anyway, you don't have to believe it, I don't care. I had to have this thought process in my head for Damien to call me out of the blue. I had to have this thought process in my head for him to call me out of the blue, because this whole thing about me rebranding and rebuilding myself so that I can subsequently push myself more into the coaching arena and the teaching arena, I needed him to call me and start talking about this whole app thing, right? And that wasn't his initial conversation with me. It was about me looking over his stuff and potentially giving him some direction. And Damon, he calculates that we've known each other for about 12 years, because I did a corp for him 12 years ago, right? And that's how we started, having conversation. And since then, he calculates that he's probably made, in credit and loans and what have you, it's all credit, about $1 million, right? So over that 12-year period of time since we first met, he's generated about $1 million. And the thing I like about him, he's constantly on the hustle, constantly meeting new people, constantly trying to figure some kind of new slant or angle out to going after money. And so that's what I do like about him. And although he calls to pimp me for information, I'm able to glean some information from him as well. So it's all good. Whether he realizes it or not, as he's talking, I'm like, oh, shoot, I don't know about that. And I'll take a note. You know what I mean? So getting back to the principles that I'm trying to get across to you all. As I'm pushing forward in this thought process, and then I start bringing it into creation by, after my name, I put master teacher now. After my name, I put master teacher and coaching, you know what I mean, or coach. As I'm bringing that thought, that was just an inkling of an idea, and then I manifested the full thought. I became confident in that thought, and then I started creating it by changing. When I put my name down, I put master teacher after it now, right? And so the more I thought about it, the more confident I became, because I started believing that I know what the hell I'm talking about. I know and have such a great ability to teach. I believe that, right? I don't care what the next person thinks. It really doesn't matter. Everybody on this call can go, dude, I don't think so. But because I know that I'm a good teacher, because I know that I'm a great coach, right? Then I'm a master teacher. Because I know that I have helped numerous people with my information, then that makes me a master teacher in my mind, and that's what counts, right? Is what I believe, and those are two of the most powerful words in any language: I and believe. So, I mean, that's the basis of everything, whether you realize it or not. I, powerful. Believe, powerful, right? And so once I started believing more and more that I can claim that, I can be that, well, from that, I started having growth, because that's just how the universe works, is because I started putting myself out there, and then doors started opening up. So people I haven't talked to in a bit, like Damien, excuse me, call me up talking about something else, but then brings up this whole app thing. And so when he brings up that app thing, it struck a chord with me. He was like, oh, yeah, dude, think about it. He says to me, he goes, man, I am moving towards getting an app, because he said, who uses a website? And then he mentions, several billion-dollar companies that don't have a website, period. And he started talking about Uber. He was like, dude, try to find a customer service number for Uber somewhere. Try to find an email address for Uber. If you're not on their app, you're not dealing with Uber. He goes, because they've cut all that extra BS out. Now, once you're in their app, then you can, instant message with them, or whatever it is that you can do with them. But other than that, no. Then he started mentioning places like WhatsApp, which says it in its name, the power of that. He's like, dude, he said, something I didn't like that he said. He said, dude, because you're old. He said, he goes, I'm old and you're old. And I was thinking to myself, no, mofo, I'm not old. Your ass is old, but I'm not. But, he had valid points. He's like, if you stay thinking and doing the way that we've been thinking and doing, then you're going to just fall off, right? And so as soon as we're having this conversation, and I'm thinking back to the other people that have told me, hey man, you know what? Everything's going apps. And I spent a lot of money on websites. And then I started thinking about it. When I look at my stats on when I do run ads on Google, or when I try not to, but when I've the word try, when I've run ads on Facebook, which don't work for me personally, it just, I see these stats, and they tell you, how many people are looking at your stuff via laptop, how many people are looking at your stuff through cell phone or tablets, and how many people are looking at your stuff through website, right? And through laptops and desktops. And every time you look at the stats, it's like crazy numbers in the difference between how many people are looking at stuff through cell phones, smartphones and tablets, and how many people are looking at stuff through, desktops and laptops. It's like 80-20, 20% of the people are utilizing laptops and desktops. Everybody and their mama is using a cell phone, this little computer that we hold in our hand. And so if you're not moving in the direction of where people are at, then you're done, right? You're screwing yourself. So it doesn't matter what your business is. Nowadays, if you don't, have an app, right? Or start thinking about adding an app, you're placing yourself behind the times. Fewer and fewer people, apparently, unless you're in an office, in a workspace, are utilizing desktops and laptops. I use one all the time because I'm old school, but a laptop anyway. But the thing is, ultimately, is that once I started even thinking about that, what happens the next day? Somebody else, 2 days later, I'm sorry, somebody else calls me up, this cat, Jerry Green, and Jerry's like, hey, Pascal, man, what's going on? I'm just calling to check in on you. And, this is what's going on with me, and I'm developing this, that, and the other, and so on and so forth. And I'm listening to him, and just like out of the blue, right? He goes, yeah, my app is this, that, and the other, and my guy is developing my app, and we're going to be able to do this with it, that with it, all this different stuff, and he's breaking everything down to me. Now, keep in mind, because my mind is so intent on developing this new arena for myself, right? The coaching, the teaching, you right? Eventually, very soon, going out and doing lectures and what have you, because my mind is on that, and how I can promote that, how I can develop that part of what I want to do. Is it, what's the best direction for me, right? And so I no longer believe it's a website. I will still get a website, but I believe I need something that people are able to do from their phone and then tap into my entire universe as far as what they're able to reach. Is my videos, information, courses, and all that kind of stuff, or just answers to their questions as far as self-development and business go. So I'm talking to Jerry, and just like before, talking to Damien, he starts, he's telling me about his app and what have you. Initially started off talking about, what's going on with him, and then he brings up his app. And I'm like, how bizarre is that? Okay. And then sure enough, while we're talking on the phone, his app guy calls. And Jerry goes, well, you know what? I want you to meet this guy. He has, a lot of connections. He's this, he's that, he's my technology guy. And so I'm like, okay, cool. So Jerry clicks over, gets dude, 3 ways to call. And before I realize it, this guy, he's about his business. So he's like, well, hey, look, I'm going on vacation starting Monday. So meaning today. And I won't be back for a week or two or whatever he said. He said, so, let's plan to meet. And I'm like, okay, well, you know what? When you get back from vacation, blah, blah. He's like, no. He said, I have a membership at this club over here in the Costa Mesa and Newport area. He said, why don't we just meet there tomorrow if you have time? And I was like, well, I could do it, but it'd have to be, like really early. He said, no problem. Just I'll drive out and I'll meet you there. And so I met this cat, had this hour and a half, sit down with him, and he's expensive, but I'm going to spend the money. I'm going to find that money, create that money, and I'm going to spend with him because I need this app, and I need a fully functioning app that contains everything that I'm doing for this new venture, if you will. So the reason I'm telling you all this is because it's all about the doing something different, the doing something new. And when you start doing that, the universe will open up doors for you. Now, you can put whatever you want. I utilize universe, okay? But you can say whatever you want. If you're into some belief system, you can then utilize that. But however you want to look at it, doors start opening up for you specifically because you have chosen to open up doors for yourself. You've chosen to believe and think that you can do something different and greater. So that's it. that is it in a nutshell. It's just all about the moving forward. I don't give a crap what you're talking about doing or thinking about doing. If you're not actually moving forward in doing it, then it means absolutely nothing. It means absolutely nothing. So what is it that you're talking about doing? Start something. Start doing something. At the end of the day, whatever you start might end up being completely different than your initial thought. And the reason that works, or the reason that happens, is because we change as we're doing things, or the opportunity changes as we're doing things. You guys catching that? So as you're out there pushing and propelling yourself in this direction, and then opportunities, new doors will open for you because you are actually doing stuff. You are actually propelling yourself forward. And anytime you're moving forward, every single time, it's just uncanny, once again, how it works. Anytime you're moving forward, doors start opening, things start happening, new opportunities arise because you're actually doing stuff. I was talking to a young lady who is a former client of mine, and she is now in the daycare business, right? So when I first met her, I sold her a business, which is, the credit repair, CPN and Tradeline business, right? And I sold it to her. I was running a sale. I sold it to her for, I don't know, $1,500 back in the day, several years back. And she bought it. And at that time, when I first met her, I don't know what she was doing, going to school or something like that, if I recall properly. But what doing that business, she made a little bit of money, but what she told me it did for her is that it instilled in her the fact that she could be an entrepreneur, because she was a 9-to-5 person going to school, and that was it. That was her existence. And she met me through someone else and just said, you know what, I'll take a chance. I'll take a chance. And that, according to her, changed everything. So now she's in a business that is 180 degrees different than what she bought from me, the business that she bought from me. 180 degrees different. You can't get any further apart than Tradelines, credit repair, and CPNs, to doing daycare. But from that business experience that she had, in going through all that she went through to develop that business, it gave her the confidence, it gave her the energy, it gave her, when I say energy, I mean mental energy, to propel herself into the entrepreneurial arena. And now she's doing a daycare. And I don't know how well it is doing or not doing, but she seems to be doing pretty well. She's supporting herself and her family. So I would say that she's probably doing well. But what sparked that? What sparked that was that she chose to push herself out of her comfort zone and move into an arena that she was not familiar with. And then because of that, according to her, it developed an entrepreneurial spark in her. And then with that entrepreneurial spark, she did several things and then landed into the daycare thing. Now, did she struggle? Absolutely. She was telling me the other day that she struggled for a while and had to, tell her family, just bear with her, while she promises it'll be greater later. And here it is, a year from the time that she was struggling to now, and she has a full-fledged daycare thing going, and, picking up kids, dropping kids off, watching them during the day and all this other stuff. And from what I could tell from her conversation, she never said specifically, but what I can tell from her conversation, it seemed to me that she was doing decent, if not good, right? And but what was the catalyst for that? Is that she just chose to do something different, and so because of that experience, she has now chosen to join my coaching program, right? So I can teach and train her about, something that she's already in, which is building and developing her business, building and moving forward, understanding, her, credit and just her developing her business in good ways to do so. Are you guys getting this? It's all about, just stepping out on faith, if you will, that, for a lot of people that makes them feel comfortable, the verbiage, stepping out on faith. But whatever it is you just have to move forward. You have to do something. And that's how you will 4X your income, right? Is just simply by moving forward, taking a direction. It doesn't really matter what that direction is right now, right? You have to start, though. You absolutely have to start. That's how you will start achieving greater. If you're doing something now that you love or hate, it doesn't matter. Start building it greater. Start doing those different things. Start find something else that you think you want to do and start pushing in that direction. There's power in that. There's power in movement. There's power in pushing forward. Getting, financed for it, anybody can do that. I say it all the time. I say that to my clients. Creating financial, let's just put it like this. Getting loans and all that other stuff. Anyone can do it. I say that literally. I tell my clients, this is the easiest thing in the world you could ever do. And if you don't have the good personal credit to do it, if you know somebody that does, you can raise all the capital that you would need to start your business. Right? So that's the easy stuff. That's the easy stuff. Getting money is not that difficult if your credit's right. The conversation I had with Damien, because we did have lunch the Thursday. No, I'm sorry. We had lunch Friday. He and I. After I met the tech guy that's going to do my my app, right? Then I ran out to Long Beach and met with Damien. And so the same thing I'm saying I said to him in conversation, I've said to you all, which is, dude, when you started this, you were a novice at it, and then subsequently you've been able to raise, like $1 million or so in capital over the 12-year period of time, and that's just when he needed it, because he has several different entities and businesses. He has a little bit of real estate. He has an auto body that he's involved in. So he has things going on, but when he chooses to, he's able to go out and raise capital only because he took some chances 12 years ago and said, I'm gonna learn this stuff, all right? Found me on Craigslist, him and his buddy found me on Craigslist, and then took some chances, took some opportunities, because back then he was a working guy trying to just, make a living. Now, according to him, he hasn't worked in years, because he has entities that are generating money, and then when he needs more money, he goes out, figures out how to borrow it, how to get it. Right now his Experian credit file looks good enough that he's going to be able to go out and get a decent amount of money on that, and use that towards whatever it is he's trying to do now. So it's all about the start, though. And so if you choose to start, then you have to understand two of the most powerful words in any language, and it is I and believe. I and believe. Most powerful words. Because if you put I before anything, you are taking possession. You are taking I will or I won't. You are taking possession. You are taking personal possession when you utilize the word I. And believe, we all know how powerful believe is, right? because belief is what everything is based on. Everything in our existence is predicated or based upon a belief. Everything is based upon a belief, period. The reason this country that we live in, if you're here in the States, is, let's say, I don't know, the one of the most powerful countries in the world, is because we have been told constantly, that we are. The reason the dollar has value is because we're told it does, and we believe that. It's actually just cotton. It's cotton fibers, right? So what is the value of $100 bill? It's whatever collectively we believe and have agreed upon. What is the value of gold? It is what we have agreed upon, right, collectively, and believe has value. It's just a thing. Why is your name so powerful to you? It's only because realistically you can change your name any day of the week. But you know what I'm saying. I don't mean that literally. There's a process that you have to go through. But you can change your name. But why does it have power? Right? Because you believe that is you. In sales, there's this book I read a long time ago by this guy named Tommy Hopkins, and they used to call him the greatest salesman ever. And one of the things he mentions in that book was that the sweetest sound to any human being is their own name, right? And why? Why is that so? It's because we believe that name to be us, right? We believe that name to be everything about us. That is, if somebody says your name, it's like they are giving you recognition. If they call you by some other name, then they're not recognizing you. And that's all about belief. And so if you utilize the words I and belief in your vocabulary when you're talking about building you and becoming the best and the greatest that you are able to become, then I'm telling you, you're non-stoppable, right? You're unstoppable, I should say. It's just we together have to start believing, right, that we are far more powerful than what we've given ourselves credit for up to this point in time. We have to understand that if you believe that you can push forward and make something happen, then you can do it. It's just a matter of just do the shit, right? It doesn't matter if it works or doesn't work. It really doesn't matter. It just matters that every day, whether you're going to give it an hour a day, and if you have time, give it 5 hours a day. You're going to do something. If you say, I'm going to start selling on eBay, then damn it, start selling something on eBay. Create an account. Start going forward. Start learning. Go on all these different little groups and what have you on Instagram, and figure out what the hell's going on, what other people are talking about. Start moving forward in that direction. Believe that you have enough talent to do that, because you do. Start moving forward, period. Start moving forward today. Start doing something that is going to propel you towards whatever it is that you want to do. If you're doing something already and it's you've been doing it for a long time and you enjoy it, but you want to double, triple, quadruple your income, well then you know what? Go out and start doing something that somebody else is doing in your business, in that industry, that is doing 10 times better than you. Just go out and do it. You might start at a lower level, right, than they are, obviously, because they have more money, more capital, more whatever to make stuff happen. But you already know how you can go out and get money. I've explained it to you all in these videos over and over and over again. If you have decent credit and you set up your corporation, you go out and you start going after business line of credit cards. right? And there's business line of credit loans out there. And what is the magic of those things? Is that business line of credit, credit cards, and business line of credit loans, as a rule of thumb, do not report to your personal credit file. So therefore, you are not going to damage or change your personal credit profile unless you don't make the payments on these credit cards or loans. All right, so getting the money part, and let's say you don't even have good credit, but your spouse or your girlfriend or boyfriend or your mother, father, sister, brother, whomever, has good credit and they believe in you, then, set up a corporation and have them go after the business lines of credit cards, right? That part is not the hard part. That is quite frankly the simple part. So what is the hardest part? And realistically, it's only hard because that is our perception of things, right? But in truth, it's really not hard. It's just doing stuff. The first time you drove a car, it was hard, right? Because you had to get the mechanics of everything down. But once you started learning the process, the flow of driving, what happened? You get in a car now and you go from here to the grocery store and you don't even think about the trip. You're thinking about 15,000 other things that are crossing your mind. But you know the mechanics. You're so comfortable with driving from your home or wherever you're at to the store or to your job or wherever you want to go that you no longer even think about the drive, if you will, right? But when you first started, you damn sure had to think about that drive. Yeah, oh my God, okay. Especially if you were driving stick shift back in the day. It was crazy, right? It was like, oh my God, you gotta, put it in first when you're starting, put it in second when you get a little faster, put it in third, put it in whatever. You gotta move the little stupid stick to go backwards, and you gotta hit the clutch just right, and all this other crap. Even then, it just became a process, a thing, a way, right? Once you learn the mechanics of it, how things moved, it became a no-brainer. It became less than a thought. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten in the car, driven from here to L.A., right, which is a 45-minute drive from me approximately, from Orange County to L.A., and I can't tell you jack about the trip. I can't tell you anything about the trip other than I can tell you probably some of the stuff I listen to on the radio or the conversation I have with my wife while we're rolling. But I can't tell you, oh, well, you know what? I had to put my foot on the brake 4 or 5 times. I can tell you how bad the traffic was, obviously. But the drive itself is now automatic, right? Driving anywhere is automatic. And it's the same thing with every other aspect of whatever we do in this life. If you say, screw it, I'm going to do it, in the beginning, it will be difficult because we just don't have the mechanics down. But once you have the mechanics down, then it becomes not even a concern. You just go out and do it. So like where I'm at mentally, this wasn't so many years ago, but where I'm at mentally right now is if I have a thought, a business thought, one of two things happens, right? I will have a level of fear about it, and I have to, figure out how to overcome that fear. So if it's outside of my comfort zone, I'll have a level of fear about starting something new because it's outside of my comfort zone. So I have to do things like I mentioned to you all in the last call, where I had to team up with Joy and Nicole, so it lowered my anxiety level, if you will. It made it easier for me to start Power Monday Masterminds because I had 2 other people that were my support system. It made it easier for me. But I still pushed forward. I found a way to push forward, and my way was bringing 2 other people in, which lowered my anxiety and made it easier for me. Now, this Power Monday Mastermind stuff, getting on the phone and talking for an hour, running my mouth for an hour is nothing. It just literally nothing. I go out, go to the park in the morning, come home, take a shower if I have time, get on the phone and just start rambling, right? Hopefully good ramble though, not bad ramble. Hopefully you guys are catching something, getting some good stuff out of this. But my point is that, in some instances, you have to develop a support system in order to push forward. If it's something you want to do, then, sometimes you have to develop a support system. So that's the first way. And then the second way, there are some things that I'm so comfortable with that I just go out and start it. And it really doesn't matter ultimately. I mean, obviously I want it to succeed. Obviously, or else I wouldn't even do it, period. But, the other side of the coin is you're doing something that you're so comfortable with in that arena, in that space, that you just do, right? And so whatever you're going to choose to do to start doubling and tripling and quadrupling your income, you're going to either be one of those two categories. You're going to either be an individual that's going to have some angst, some anxiety over it, or you're going to be a person that if you're comfortable enough with it, you're just going to do it. But so the point is ultimately is just do it. It doesn't, just do it. Just do it, and everything will be figured out. I promise you. If you're grinding, you will find that doors will open for you. Things that you hadn't even thought about will happen for you, because that's the way the universe works. Things that you said, oh, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, end up being A, B, and C, completely at the other end of the spectrum from where you started at. You might have said, I'm going to start this, as my son put it. Yeah, I'll give him credit for this. You might have started off saying, oh man, I'm going to create this burger stand, and I'm going to have these jalapeno burgers with extra jalapeno cheese and with these onion ring burgers and all this other crap, but everybody's loving your milkshakes, and they're not filling your hamburgers. Well, you're a milkshake stand. You're not a hamburger stand at that point, right? You got to, so you started in one direction, but you end up being a milkshake stand because people hate your burgers. And you have to grasp that and understand that. Hey, well, screw it. I'm a milkshake stand, and make that work for you. Because if the people are telling you, that the public that are spending their money with you are saying this is what we want, then that's what you have to do. And we've said this over and over and over again. Facebook, same thing. They started off as one thing, and as people started voting, right, with their time and energy and what they wanted, then Facebook did a 180. And that's why it's a multi-billion-dollar corporation right now. Because they started in one place, right, as this little chat thing between college students, and it exploded from there to what it is today, right, which is this big, huge, community, global community. So you guys have to just start. You have to start. Wherever you're starting at, your dream, your goal, your ambition, but right here, right now, might not be that dream, goal, and ambition by the time you come to the conclusion of this thing, right? You always have to be open to change. And even when you think you're at the pinnacle of whatever it is you're doing, you're going to have to be willing to change then as well. Because, if you don't change, what happens, right? If you don't change, you become, IBM, which is still a big company, obviously, but Microsoft is bigger. And because IBM didn't want to change. They sold the DOS product to Microsoft, and which allowed Microsoft to become Microsoft. Because IBM didn't see the value. They didn't want to change. They became stagnant. And so once again, they're a big company because their fingers, their tentacles are in so many things, but they're not the company they used to be. So no matter what you think your pinnacle is, you have to always be willing to change. You have to always be willing to continue to morph into something new. And where does that all start? It all starts with I believe. I believe I can XYZ. I can believe, I can build this. I believe I can make more money. I and believe are your best friends. They're the most empowering part of our language as far as Pascal is concerned. Because if I believe in something, then it's in my core, right? If I were a religious person and I said, I believe in God, I believe in Allah, Buddha, whatever it is that you want to pick, then that is so ingrained in my everything, right? How I operate, how things I will do, things I won't do, because I believe in that. And so we have to start, we, including me, have to start utilizing, I believe in me. I believe in myself. I believe in whatever venture it is that you're going to do. Right? Every time I push myself in a new direction that I believe in, even if I have a start where it's kind of shaky because I have some angst and anxiety over it, because I believe in it enough, like Power Monday Masterminds, I will find a way, or that way will come to me, so that it makes it easier. Because when I first thought of Power Monday Masterminds, actually the name came from brainstorming with Nicole. I had something similar, and then Nicole was like, I had something masterminds, like Power Masterminds, or I forgot what it was, but it was the conversation with her that put the magic together, right? So it wasn't just upon myself. I had the idea. I hit her up. I was like, well, you know what? I have this idea, and I didn't say to her, well, I'm looking to have you help me because I just, I'm afraid. I didn't say that to her, but that was kind of in my spirit, right? I was kind of like, oh my God, how is this going to work out? How is this going to happen? How is that going to happen? Same thing with contacting Joy. When I called Joy and I was like, well, Joy, I was talking to Nikki and I had this idea, and I just broke it down to her as well. I never said to her, well, I'm asking you to help me and be a part of this because I'm afraid, right? I never said that. What I did say is, here's my objective, here's my dream, and I would like you to be a part of that. But the truth of the matter is, I needed them. I needed their support. I needed their energy, if you will. Now, once again, other things that I'm doing, like transforming myself into being a master teacher and a coach. I'm so comfortable in that because I have past experience, right? I have a multitude of people that have come to me and I've been able to help. And so from that perspective, by me saying that I'm moving in that direction full force, it's so much easier because I already have an understanding. I already have a track record of that. So I don't have the same type of uncomfortableness with it. When I put the words master teacher after my name and coach after my name, I was able to do it comfortably because I have a long track record in selling my coaching, my teaching, and my products. Right? I have years of that, and so therefore I believe I know it very well. And so putting master teacher and coach behind my name, not a big deal. Speaking to people for an hour, and trying to give them value for an hour, different every single week that we have these things, because we do it every Monday except on holidays and whatnot. But that was a big step for me. But this Power Monday Mastermind also is part and parcel with my coaching and being a master teacher. it all works together. So the idea, the seed has been in my head for a long time. That was one of the reasons for creating Power Monday Mastermind. And then I brought it to fruition. I brought it to fruition by the things, by my actions. And then things have been flowing in a way that I didn't even expect to happen. But because my energy, my mental is behind it, it's like you're pushing into this formless energy, as Wallace Walliford would say. There's a formless energy that exists, and out of that formless energy, we are able to create or bring into creation, into our line of sight, right? Whatever it is that we so desire, because we are, the energy is there. The energy is there. Money is energy, right? Money is energy. Anything you can think of is energy. Health is energy. And so it's formless. It exists, but it exists formlessly until you push yourself or bring it to you and create whatever it is that you want. All the money you could ever want already exists. They're printing new money every single day of the week. That's a fact. Virtually every country in the world is printing money. We know they're doing it in the United States every single day. So since that is true, then why aren't you getting more of it? The reason you're not getting more of it is because you're not pushing yourself into the flow of it. Does that make sense? I mean, it's like a river, right? The river's there, but if you're on the, 10 miles away from the river, then you're not in the flow of that river. And so you have to move towards the flow and then step into the river. And then therefore, you're bathing yourself in the waters or whatever. Same thing comes with money. If you're not moving forward, if you guys get tired of these stupid ass metaphors, let me know and I'll stop them. But if you're not moving forward, then you can't push yourself in the flow of that type of energy, right? The energy of money. If you're stagnant, then you're going to get exactly what you're continuously getting right now. Once you make that choice of moving forward, doing something different, adding to what you're doing, whatever, then that's when things start changing. That's how you're going to 4X your business. That's how you're going to 4X your life, is just changing. The reason I'm, who I am, right, is because, so like I'm overweight. Prime example. The only time that I do better with my weight is when I'm focused upon it and place myself in an environment mentally where my weight, controlling it, exercising, eating better, all that stuff is what I'm pursuing. If I don't pursue it, then I just stay a fat ass. When I'm pursuing it, I start getting healthier, I start losing weight, all that stuff. The same thing applies to every other aspect of our existence. But I choose more in this business arena. I should be doing it all, right? But I'm not. Until I start pushing more diligently towards working out, doing something, then I'm going to stay a fat ass. But in my business life, I'm constantly pushing. So therefore, I'm constantly creating, manifesting, and bringing into my existence the capital that I need to sustain myself and grow. So anyways, I hope that you guys are getting this stuff. I'm just really trying to, get you guys to understand that, the mechanics of creating are not that difficult, but the mindset of creating is everything. The mindset of pushing forward is everything. I just use the example of my weight. it's my mindset. I've seen people lose a crap load of weight because their mindset flipped. I saw my wife go from not being able to jog, I don't know, 100 feet to being able to run the LA Marathon because her mindset changed. And I mean, oh my God, she went from literally jogging with my fat butt to surpassing me by leaps and bounds, and then being able to run the LA Marathon, 26 miles, and she did it nonstop. And she did all that in less than 8 months because she had such a great desire for it. Then, as she opened herself up to that, as an example, to that desire, to that will, to accomplish this task of running the LA Marathon, all these things started occurring in her world. I mean, she started. It's just like it was like magic, She just started, meeting people that were, runners, people that worked in her office that she didn't even know. Same office building, I should say. There's this old dude. I don't know how old he is, but he looks older. Cat that he's running like multiple marathons a year, including the LA Marathon. And it just so happened because of her mindset was so on this running thing that it came up in conversation, and then she subsequently, dude was like, oh yeah, well I this, that, and the other, showed her all his little, running stuff and started giving her tips and whatnot to make it better. Oh, you need to take some Imodium before you start running because of, having to use the bathroom. Because you need to do this, you need to do that. You see, because her mind was so into what she was trying to, God dog, I hate that word trying. I stop using it. Her mind was so into what she was doing that all these people and things started coming her way. A place to go get the best shoes for her, what she should or shouldn't be doing, how she should be running. It just started opening up to her. And the same thing will happen for you all as it happens for me, as we push into that formless energy, what our desires are, what we want to accomplish. So that's the end of this call. If anybody has anything that want to type in the little chat, cool. If you don't, it's 10:07. I kind of ran over, so I apologize. And that's it, y'all. I hope that you all got something out of it. And thank you once again for being on the call. Scooby-Doo-Doo-Doo.